Hey everybody, it's Tripl-L, and now let's talk Black Clover. Yeah, no man, just Black Clover. Black Clover, I think episode 63 recently had a pretty big fight occur in it, and let's just say the animation for that fight in that episode was a bit of a spectacle. That said, there are also quite a few differences from the fight that was presented in the anime compared to the fight that was presented in the manga. Now, frequent fans of the channel, you guys know that sometimes I've done the episode comparisons. This isn't going to be an episode comparison per se. It's more like a fight comparison in particular. This episode of Black Clover, though, just happens to give us a fight that really got expanded, and even not just talking about the quality of the fight, it's interesting to see how they did things. So let's just get into it. So one thing to consider here with this fight is that when it came to a lot of the action scenes, a lot of those were expanded. A good rule of thumb here to know what was anime original and what was manga, well, it's pretty much anything that involves the characters talking. Specifically in this fight, you had moments where the Witch Queen would break in and she would chat or, just give exposition. Those were scenes that were pretty much lifted from the manga itself. So whenever you see her, you know that you have slotted back into, I guess, manga material. Now, in terms of figuring out which of the fight scenes were expanded upon, well, around the 6-minute mark of the episode, that's where you start the first big bit of exposition, and a little bit of that will be on the screen here. And this continues till about 7 minutes and 45 seconds. So for that minute and 45 seconds, that was all anime original. It then goes into Witch Queen dialogue. Then at the 9-minute mark, you go back into anime fight material, and that continues till about the 10-minute and 57-second mark. Again, here you would be cued in that this is manga material because you have the Witch Queen giving the narration. From there, the next little bit is a lot of manga material, specifically when Ladros launches his final dragon attack that leads into Asta homing in on him. All of that manga material. So what you ended up having here was that for those minutes that I pointed out earlier, you just had the anime team going crazy with whatever they could come up with. You had some really hardcore abstract sequences there. Some parts were just kind of smudges all over the place. But one thing that should be noted is that all those things that Asta did during the episode, during those anime original scenes, were effectively things that he realistically could do at that point. One big thing that Asta gets thanks to his new transformation is that he gets that extra speed, he gets that extra power, and he gains the ability to fly. He also gains the ability to use some kind of black ore that he can shoot around. So that's all true to Asta's character. What happened was the anime team just took all those and made it a little bit more visually interesting, and also maybe in some ways visually disgusting. Like some of those scenes, man. Ladros, on the other hand, he did have quite a few bouts of firepower in there, but given that the guy had just absorbed the spirit, I think you could make the case that, yeah, realistically, he could probably have that much firepower if him and Asta had that fight. Ultimately, one thing you have to understand, though, is that the anime's depiction of Ladros is significantly more powerful than the depiction of him in the manga. Because, again, the scenes that involve him in the manga are much more limited compared to the anime. Now, another welcome difference in the episode compared to the manga itself was that during the narration sequences of the Witch Queen, you got to see some more abstract type of things. And this is where that minimalistic, or I guess reduced art style really works. Because you had those like little scribbles of darkness, being a metaphor for Asta's power, and it looks really cool there. Like that's definitely one spot where I guess the art direction really worked really well, because otherwise compared to the manga you would have just had scenes of her talking and just seeing her face, which isn't as interesting. One more thing to note about this fight is that while the early parts of the fight looked shoddy to say the least, when you get towards the end, you notice that Asta's character model looked a little better during a lot of those dramatic sequences, and those might be because they kind of just lined up with original panels from the manga. One interesting thing to see was how closely the anime stuck to some of those scenes from the manga, and specifically all the close-ups of Asta. Whichever ones that you find that you think are looking really good, chances are they are lifted from a manga panel particularly. Anyway, the big takeaways you can have here is that this fight was pretty much done in 8 minutes compared to the 1 chapter length that this fight originally had in the manga. Of those 8 minutes, a good 2 to 3 minutes of them are filler, whose purpose is just to kind of hype things up and make things go boom a little bit more. And also to just, celebrate the fact that Asta just got a really cool power-up that is on paper technically supposed to be very strong. Now, the video is pretty much over. This was just a very quick video to give you just a bit of a run-through of what was different and what wasn't. I'd really like to know, you Black Clover fans, if you enjoyed this video, if you enjoyed the extra little bits of insights. Like I said, it's very simple just to know there were a few parts that were expanded just because they wanted to show off what Asta could do and also get a little bit more out of the material. If you want to check the original chapter that this fight was featured in, it was chapter 97 of the Black Clover manga. Anyway guys, let me know if you liked this very quick run through of the differences. Let me know what you thought down below, and let me know if the visual aids were also nice if you want to give that kind of feedback. Anyway, till next time, I hope you have an absolutely great day.